How do you help empower people?
I ended up in this coaching realm. And one of the things we do is empower people, give them the voice, let them understand people. My whole life makes sense. I understand why the relationships were the way they were. I understand what my dad, why he showed up the way he did. So I give people the ability to empower themselves by understanding people, increasing emotional intelligence for people, because that's the emotional intelligence piece is huge. And you have to have that empathy and understand what other people are feeling.
Exactly. Exactly. Can you tell people what you do, who you are, what you do?
I am a certified bank, BANK, coach and trainer, and bank it's a reverse engineered personality science. So it actually even breaks you down into where your stress codes are, which is super
Wow.
interesting. Yeah, because you can actually see how you're showing up under stress. I actually lived in my stress code for many years, and that was really empowering to see that, because I now understand like why I was showing up completely different than I normally do. And I also, one of the biggest things that was a breakthrough for me is that I found out I wasn't broken. It was just my
Okay.
operating system and how I was wired. And it
Yeah.
brought me and my oldest together. We had a real disconnect, and we could not get along. And I was literally stressing them out every day, just being that spontaneous, fun mom that I thought they needed. And that wasn't what they needed at all.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting actually.
Yeah. So I spent every minute I could with
No kidding.
kids, and I did not understand what my child's values were and in the order they were. So, like us going on vacation, I'd be packing the morning of,
Mhm.
running a half an hour late. They were packed a week in advance, waiting at the door for half an hour. They were already mad at me, but I didn't realize. I was like, they're tired, they don't want to go, whatever. So we get into an argument. It was because I lied to them. To them, I lied. I said we were leaving at 9 o'clock. It was 9:30, and we hadn't left the house yet.
Yes. I'm
So
like that. I'm like that.
that
You would be a great mom to me. Because now you know that I
was,
actually view it totally the same. Wow,
yeah,
that's interesting.
but I didn't see it that way. Like you just assume people show up like you do, right? My
Yeah,
my
yeah.
one, my youngest, just like that. So he was like, "All right, that's good, cool, we're good."
Wow, wow.
Yes. And they needed structure, they needed a system, they needed the rules. And I was like, rules? Who needs rules? Right? We're just gonna have fun. So we would come home and be like, hey, let's go to the beach, or let's go for a hike, or whatever it was. And they'd be like, no. I would think they didn't want to go because they didn't like me. They didn't
Okay.
want to hang out with me. It
Yeah.
wasn't that. I didn't give them enough time.
To, like,
So
digest it and, like, plan it.
to plan it, to schedule it. So
Yes.
So what happened is when I went through this coaching, I didn't do it to be a coach. So when
Okay.
I went through it, they walked to the door and I said, I am so sorry. And they were like, for what? Like, I did it wrong for 18 years. I completely blew it. And so we sat
Wow.
down, we went through the codes and we went through what it meant. And like all of a sudden, that light bulb went on, and we have the best relationship. Now, keep in mind, right before I went through the program, they didn't want to be here. They came home from college and wanted to leave because
Okay.
I was too much.
Okay.
So now I understand. And when they would get stressed out, they would become very nurturing and they would need that love and all of the things. Well, I passed that long ago. And when I got stressed out, I became a drill sergeant. So all of a sudden, this person who didn't have rules and didn't have structure was like, you're going to do the things, you're going to have chores, you're going to take garbage, you're going to get up. It's going to be like a military base here. And they
Yes.
would cry. And the more emotional they got, the more angry I got.
Wow. Good for you. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah. So That's what that I when like I said, when I went through the program again, it was by accident. I ended up seeing this woman who created it speak, and she blew my mind. And that's
Mhm.
when I said, wow, like this is a game changer for people, because it gives you a voice. It gives you the ability to communicate effectively in any situation and be heard. Everybody speaks a different language. And if they're not speaking your language,
Yeah.
it's like the Peanuts teacher. It's a
Yes.
that's what it sounds like, just by the different
Wow.
words you use and how you show up.
Very cool. Very, very cool. How do you show up for your world now?
I show up in my world with confidence, with love, non-judging, and want to help others succeed. I want to help others have that voice. I want to help others to know that they are enough just the way they are. And I just want to make this world a better place and get people to actually understand, hey, this is how I can help the world, right? This is how I can help myself and get and make the world a better place by understanding how people are showing up and how to talk to them. Can learn something from the people that are around you. You just have to give them a chance.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Well, listen, this has been fantastic. I so appreciate you taking some time out of your day to sit down with me. Your story is absolutely amazing. I'm really proud of you and how far you've come, and I'm so glad that you found your way to that sales company that led you to this, to everything that you are and everything that you're doing in the community as far as empowering people, men and women. I assume men and women.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very, very cool. I want to ask you before we kind of close up here, the people that are listening right now live, and to anyone who is listening on the replay, who is listening, who is feeling inspired, who is, got another little nugget of strength and of power out of your story. Um, what would you say to a woman right now who has had a narcissistic parent? What would you give? What kind of advice would you give someone who has just a complete lack of boundaries because of that narcissistic parent? They're realizing it, they're kind of coming to the realization of, where should they start? What should they do? What are the steps they should take as they're kind of opening their eyes to what they've gone through?
My advice would be to, one, keep the faith, believe in yourself, and start listening to positive audiobooks, personal development books, things that are going to shift your mindset to not enough, to all of those things you've heard all your life and what you're hearing constantly on a day-to-day basis. You have to break out of that and shift into a place where you're putting positive things into your mind, because you want to build up your strength to not only get out of that relationship, but stay out of it and not get into another one that's
I
just
love
like
that.
that. So
I love that.
you need to build up yourself, build up your mind, listen to those positive things instead of the negative. If you have people who are complaining, right, in your life, try not to spend so much time with that, because it's bringing you
Yeah.
down. Shift your energy level up.
Yes. 100%. 100%. As far as just a relating question I thought of while you were speaking, as far as dealing with parents, It can be the term that we use in the world of narcissism is to gray rock or to go no contact. Considering, you've been through this, what's your advice on that? Like, how do you go no contact with your parent, or how do you gray rock with your parent? What did that kind of look like for you?
There was so much destruction that had been done, and it took something really big to do it. I cut off all contact. I
Wow.
now talk to them, both my parents, but I knew I wasn't ready. So knowing that you're strong enough to deal with whatever they throw at you is, I think, key, because you have to build yourself up. You have to build up your mind. You have to strengthen yourself into the point where no matter what they do, what they say, it's not going to affect you and bring you back down to where you were.
Exactly.
So every time someone would say, you know what, you should talk to your parents. They're your parents. How can you do this? I say, I'm not ready yet. I'll know when I'm ready, but it's not now.
Wow. Good for you. And I love that you're giving people the power to be able to do that. People don't know that they can do that. That's
Right.
something you can do. You did that.
You have
Yeah,
to take control of what you can control.
absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes people think that there's obligations there, and there's only an obligation to you, to yourself. And if you're not taking care of yourself mentally and emotionally, then you can't take care of others or your kids.
Right.
Or your
Absolutely.
kids.
And
Yeah.
you have to protect you
Yeah.
so that you can take care of yourself and your kids. And you'll know when you're strong enough to be able to deal with whatever's thrown at them, thrown at you, right? And not end up taking those steps back, because I can remember how many times I said, it's like I'm taking, 5 steps forward and 100 steps back,
Yeah.
because I wasn't ready to deal with the things that I wasn't strong enough to deal with what was happening in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been fantastic. Do you have any closing thoughts before I close up?
I would just want to thank you for all that you are doing for women, and
Mhm.
everything your mission is amazing.
Thank
And
you.
I just want to tell the women out there who are listening that you can do this. You have the ability, you are worth it. You deserve to have the most amazing life of your dreams.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story. I so appreciate you, and I hope to have you on here again. I hope to get some more knowledge, some more feedback. I know that you've been on one of our round tables. I hope to have you on another one of those. The insight that you have, the knowledge and the education that you've put yourself through is amazing. So I do have Michelle's contact information on the descriptions. So feel free if you do want to contact her. She has email, websites, phone numbers, any way that you feel comfortable contacting her. She is here, and she's all about empowering and giving your power back. So thank you so much, Michelle. I am going to close up now. Thank you for joining us here. For those of you that are watching live still, and for those of you that are watching us on the replay, if you have an amazing story to share of struggle to triumph, be sure to reach out to me here or at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Do something awesome today. Much love.